First at 7 o'clock, a 17-year-old is dead, shot and killed by police in Aurora last night. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jordan Chavez.
And I'm Corey Rose. The teen is accused of threatening to shoot up a gas station. Police say after an officer shot him, they learned that teen was unarmed. 9 News reporter Steve Stager is live at the Conoco near Alameda and Havana, where this happened early yesterday evening. And Steve, we know that no officers were hurt.
Yeah, Corey, this call came in around 7:30 last night, and police say the person on the other end of the line was the teen who was shot and killed at the end of all this. They say that he threatened to shoot up this gas station and area businesses around here. They got another 911 call about 10 minutes later from the owner of the gas station saying that they were locking themselves in because of suspicious activity on the outside of the gas station. Police got here around 7:42. They found this 17-year-old. They say his hands were in his waistband and that he started to approach the officers. Officers tried firing less lethal foam rounds at him, but they say those rounds didn't stop him. And in fact, the chief says he started to approach more quickly. They tried shouting commands too, but nothing seemed to work.
Those foam rounds had no impact and did not stop the aggressive behavior of our suspect. After the rounds were actually fired, he increased his aggressive behavior and started to run towards the officers.
So at that point, the chief says that these officers repositioned themselves, but in the end, one of the officers fired his pistol, hit the 17-year-old, and killed him. The chief couldn't say what specific action that 17-year-old took that prompted the officer to use deadly force, though he did say that the 17-year-old had their hands kind of near their waistband as they were approaching officers. They didn't end up finding a firearm on scene here on that young man. The officer is now on administrative leave, which of course is standard protocol in cases like this as investigators take a deeper look at this shooting. We're live in Aurora. Steve Stager, 9 News.
Steve, thank you so much. 7:02 is your time, and we still have that traffic impact alert for those heading out the door taking Sheridan right near westbound 76. If you're heading down Sheridan taking those westbound lanes, you are seeing a heavy police presence in that area because of a crash that happened earlier this morning. We first started talking about this crash about 30 to 45 minutes ago. What I can tell you and what we're seeing from our Sky 9 and our CDOT cameras is that 2 vehicles were involved. We have Colorado State Patrol on scene, and it looks like we also have a sheriff's office there on scene. So let's switch things over to our CDOT cameras just so I can show you a closer look of this crash. So one of those vehicles hit that traffic light pole. You can see it right here on your screen. That second vehicle that was involved in this crash is facing the wrong direction along westbound along Sheridan. So we do have, it looks like, folks out of the vehicles. We're making calls to see if anyone was taken to the hospital just because there's heavy front end damage. We are seeing just car parts scattered all over the roadway here, and the investigation continues to see how this crash happened. So I do want to switch things over to our main maps, zoom into that area. Again, if you're taking westbound Sheridan at 76 is where you're going to see that crash. We're also seeing heavy delays along 76 at the moment if you're heading out the door, as well as southbound I-25. If you are taking southbound I-25, just after the North Glen area, we were seeing several crashes this morning. Right now, we're in pretty good shape. An 11-minute drive. Earlier this morning, we were seeing about a 45-minute drive, and we were slowing down to 12 miles per hour. That is no longer the case. You are in pretty good shape. And then downtown to the tech center, again, for a Friday morning, we are looking pretty good. A 15-minute drive south and northbound lanes, and no crashes to report up and down southbound I-25.
Brianna, thank you so much. Looked like a very busy morning thus far on the roads, but in the weather department, no major impacts. It's a really beautiful start to the day. Lots of sunshine to kick off this Friday. Long's Peak looking extra majestic there as the sun rises in the sky. Temperatures right now have fallen to the upper 40s over the metro area, some 20s and 30s in the mountains. So it is a little chilly out there, but seasonal for this time of the year. Layers your friend for today. Warming up significantly though this afternoon. Temperatures set to rebound to the low 80s. High pressure building in, relatively quiet across the state as we round out the final full week of summer. Temperatures though right now we're at 50 degrees in Boulder, low 40s only near Evergreen, and 30s mainly off to our west. We have dropped below freezing in Granby, Breckenridge, Leadville in the mid and upper 20s right now, but it will warm up here across the state, taking us through our hourly planner. No worries at the airport in terms of weather conditions here in town, and out at Denver International Airport by 11 o'clock we'll be at 71 degrees and highs set to top out in the low 80s. Denver, northeast across the plains, 50s and 60s off over higher terrain into the mountains with some low 70s filtering into spots like Steamboat and Aspen by 3 o'clock this afternoon there at the valley level. Rockies, they're taking on the Angels. Today at Coors Field, 6:10 first pitch, comfortable conditions, cloud coverage out there. We'll talk about our next chance for seeing some moisture arrive. Still to come in your full forecast. Corey.
Katie, thank you. New this morning, the Alamosa man accused of killing his wife is in the process of making a $3 million bail. This was confirmed by our partners at the Denver Gazette. Barry Morphew has been in custody since June after being arrested in connection to the murder of his wife, Suzanne Morphew. Earlier this month, a district court judge changed his cash bond requirement to a surety bond, which means he could await trial at home if a bail bond company could guarantee the money or if someone was willing to put that value of property on the line. Morphew's next hearing is set for November 3rd, and attorneys say his case could go on trial by next summer.
We are learning some new details about the Weld County deputies that were shot during a training exercise earlier this week. This happened at the Sam Brownlee Training Center in northern Colorado near the town of Carr. The sheriff's office says that one of the deputies was putting his gear away when his gun went off. That round hit him and another deputy. We learned that both deputies are men. One is 41 years old, the other 51, and they have been with the sheriff's office for 10 and 15 years respectively. Both were taken to the hospital, treated, and have since been released.
2 hunters last seen in the San Juan wilderness were found dead after a days-long search. Ian Stasko and Andrew Porter recently traveled to the San Juan wilderness in southern Colorado to hunt elk. They were camping close to a trailhead near the New Mexico border. They planned to be back in Utah earlier this week, but Andrew's fiance says they never returned. They were supposed to get married in the next few months. Andrew's fiance says the pair didn't have all of their gear when storms hit. More than 50 search and rescue teams spent the past week searching for the pair. Their bodies were found around 11 o'clock Thursday morning.
Thousands of people showed up to CSU's football stadium to attend a vigil for Charlie Kirk. The conservative activist was shot and killed more than a week ago during an event in Utah. Kirk was scheduled to speak at CSU last night before the shooting, and a previously planned counter event was still held across campus. There was a large police presence at the stadium for extra security. The vigil was more of a political rally than a memorial and included former Republican gubernatorial candidate Heidi Ganahl as a speaker.
He once said, "The future of America is in the hands of the youth. And if we don't engage them, we lose them." I don't think we've lost anyone. Look at this crowd here today.
CSU says more than 7,000 people walked through the gates at Canvas Stadium.
An hour before that vigil kicked off, a CSU student organization held a political debate at the Laurie Student Center. The debate lasted more than 2 hours and was called For Free Speech Against Political Violence. Several hundred students and community members filled the room, many lining up to go back and forth with the political commentator and streamer Destiny. At times, the crowd reacted with loud applause, shouts, and standing ovations. We spoke to some students who attended both events.
I think it's just really important to see both sides, no matter what you think, so that's why I came to both. So yeah, I really like Charlie Kirk as well. That's why I went to that, and I wanted to get other opinions from here.
Organizers said this was moved indoors for safety. This was also in a different section of campus with the same safety measures in place.
Taking a live look over the U.S. Capitol this morning, where both chambers of Congress are expected to take up funding bills today. They're aimed at avoiding a government shutdown September 30th. But in the Senate, Democrats and Republicans are putting forth separate continuing resolutions. Plans from both parties boost lawmaker security. The Democrats' bill undoes Medicaid cuts and enshrines Obamacare subsidies. It also reverses some DOGE reductions and runs through October. Republicans say that there is otherwise clean and has 7 weeks of funding. House Speaker Mike Johnson says that Republicans in his chamber have enough votes to greenlight the GOP plan, but largely Democrats sound firm.
It's a total good faith effort to allow appropriators on both sides of the aisle to continue their work.
They even refuse to have bipartisan negotiations. We've always had bipartisan negotiations on this.
Right now, neither seems able to pass. Republicans need a handful of Democrats to join them to overcome a filibuster.
New details out of Washington State this morning. Police there believe they have found the body of Travis Decker. He is charged with killing his 3 young daughters. They were reported missing back in May when they didn't return from a scheduled visit with their father. Their bodies were found days later at a campground. Authorities are still working to confirm the identity of the body found through DNA analysis.